This is Teej Henley. It's a cream for the face to make you beautiful.
Men, have you not been getting girls lately? You need to try Teej Henley Uncomplicated Skincare for Men.
Oh my god, I wish my man had Teej Henley. Then maybe I'd find that in my dreams. Teej Henley, Henley, Henley.
Teej Henley, Teej Henley, Teej Henley моя.
Teej Henley, let's go.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to BioS 3 Raw TV. Well, this is going to be the first in a series of videos called The Better You. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk Sponsorship 101. I think that's what this is going to actually be called, Sponsorship 101, at the making of this video. Now, I'm going to run through some stuff with you tonight. It's going to be very different. Actually, you saw a ad on the beginning of this video from Teej Henley. Now, this video is going to be about Teej Henley. Now, you might be like, Jerry, it's a skincare product? Like, I don't understand. You've never talked about skincare before. Remember, Sponsorship 101. We're going to talk about that right now. We're going to get into the whole thing. It's all going to make sense by the end, guys. Trust me. So, you guys know that over the years, I've worked with different companies. 5% Nutrition, I'llPumpYouUp.com, Big Bitch Formula, Primeval. I mean, there's multiple places that I've worked. I've worked with Isatori. And, of course, now, you know, I own GIFD Labs. And a big thing that we get a lot of times, you know, in every company I work for is, how can I get sponsored? And not just like an affiliate code, like an actual sponsorship where you get flown out to events, you're at the booths, working the booths and stuff like that. You may get flown out to events like not just expos, but like, you know, let's say you're working for a company, you get flown out to do an event at an actual store that sells the stuff. Like, how do I get that position? Now, back in the day, it used to be, I mean, back in the day, a couple years ago, it used to be the bigger social media following you had, that's pretty much what everybody was looking at, right? Now, fast forward to now, 2019, this was actually taking place in 2018, where I first started GIFD Labs, and I've been talking to other friends of mine that are CEOs of companies, that work for other companies, that are major supplement companies, clothing companies, stuff like that. And one thing that everybody across the board has decided is that if your social media does not truly represent you, they're actually firing or letting go of people that are sponsored by the company, or at the very least, being more picky now. Now, what does this mean? So we fired people that had fake followers, and I watched that firsthand. They'd have X amount of followers, they get hired, and nothing happens, like zero happens. And it's in the clauses of the contracts that you can be fired if they find out that your following is fake. Now, the latest thing that Teej Henley works into with this whole situation is many of the companies will hire someone based on how they look on their Instagram, right? So they look a certain way and they say, that represents our company. And then they show up at the actual expo, and not only do they not look physically like they may look 30 pounds heavier than they did, they're not really in shape, their skin was absolutely terrible, and they use something like Facetune. So they're using Photoshop to change their body and using something called Facetune to change their faces on these pictures. And they show up with a very unhealthy look, and then the people that are, you know, run the company, they're like, well, you don't look anything like that in any of your pictures. But they don't say that because they obviously can't say that due to legalities. But they're like, this person doesn't even represent what we thought they did. They don't even take care of themselves like they talk about on their posts and stuff like that. And what they do is they either don't call them back, they let them go, they decide not to continue sponsoring the person. And now it's gone as far as many of the companies are actually doing Skype interviews to be sponsored. I don't mean affiliate codes. I don't mean you just get a code and you get an affiliate. I mean actually sponsored by the company. They do face-to-face Skypes, and if you live close enough, it'll be a face-to-face interview before they even make the final decision to make sure that you actually look like you do in your Instagram and your social media. So one of the things was, you know, physique-wise, which we all know, the fitness industry, health industry, physique has to be in shape. You don't have to be super shreddy, you don't have to be super big, but you have to follow the lifestyle that you're trying to represent for these companies. But skincare is something that I never really thought that much about, right? But what happens is people, you know, because we have those apps, the Facetune, they change themselves so dramatically, and when they show up, they either have like massive dry skin, massive oily skin, acne all over the place, things that don't appear on their Instagrams, which is technically not real. So now companies are actually looking for people that are in shape all the time, that don't have periods of time where they're like off season without a shape, and people that do have good skin, that are eating healthy diets all the time and living a healthy lifestyle like they look in their Instagrams. That's what they want to promote. So I kind of step back, and with my clients, you know, I work with them all the time, getting ready for competitions. Skincare is important. You want to get on stage looking your absolute best. And skincare doesn't just mean the skin on your body. There are exfoliate scrubs and stuff like that before you put your tan on. But your face is just as important when you're on those stages with those, and people put the tanning stuff on their face and get it all messed up. Like, doing it professionally to have that tan put on your face is very important, but to make sure you have clear skin when you go on stage to have the best pictures, which those pictures quite possibly could get you that opportunity to have that sponsorship where you're getting paid, flown out, traveling the world, those type of things, and it's those little details that count. So I said, okay, which direction I need to go in? So I researched a bunch of stuff, talked to a bunch of people, and Teach Hanley popped up, and I was like, this place is absolutely amazing. They have everything you need. So I have some of their products here now. The first thing that I started using from them, and I have my clients use now, is the Teach Hanley face wash. It's a regular face wash. Okay, it does hydrate your skin. It's amazing. You'll feel your face clean but not dry. And I actually have patches of dry skin, like really like on the side of my nose and then my forehead. You can actually see it here. It's at the end of the day that I'm filming this. It gets oily. So I have like a combination of oily and dry skin together, which, you know, you need multiple different products to actually take care of that. You're not just looking at one. You then have like the, they have an AM, PM, moisturizer. So you have the AM and the PM. So you have this one in the morning, this one at night. You have the facial scrub, which once a week you use the face. I think it's twice a week, up to 2 times a week. You can do once or twice a week, which gets off the dead skin, so it helps with the dry skin. And then you have this right here, which is the eyes, right? So people have been saying, like, Jerry, your eyes look better. Like, those dark circles on your eyes look a lot better. Well, this is one of the reasons why I've been using these products. Now, let's just kind of back up a second. So for me, with the, you know, obviously the face wash is important, right? Because I don't necessarily have sensitive skin, but my skin can dry out really bad, like around here, if I'm using like regular face washes and stuff. So I'm usually kind of careful about what I use to begin with. But I have a hard time finding like the right lotions and stuff, because let's face facts. You put something on your face that you don't really know what's going on, you can get a reaction that you're not really sure that you were going to get. So therefore we have like different products like that. Now I kind of stepped back and I was like, how do we bring this to people, right? That are competing, not competing, trying to get sponsorships. How do we bring this and explain it? So let's just boil it down like this, to as easy as we can talk about it. If you have 2 individuals and you have one person that's Instagram has 2 million people and they got an unbelievable following and they get all these likes and they look perfect, right? You have another person that has 50,000, right? And there's, you know, they're taking selfies, they don't have professional pictures done, and they are in good shape, right? They're in great shape and they look fantastic. And now what happens is this company goes, man, it's down between these 2 people. This one's got 2 million followers. Why hasn't anybody scooped them up yet? This person's got 50,000. We feel like they really represent our company too. So now it's not even about the numbers anymore as far as social media goes. It's not just about that. I should say it's not just about the numbers. It's not just about the numbers. They want to make sure that it's the right fit with the right person, so they don't have to go back later on, get rid of the person that really isn't a fit and go look for another person. So now what they do is they say, we're going to have Skype interviews. So they set up a time to Skype with a person with, you know, 1.1 million viewers or whatever, and they look at them on the thing and they go, wow, you know, her face is really not lean like it is in the pictures, you know, and they don't ask you for your physique, right? They just do it face to face, because they technically can't be like, hey, stand up, turn around. They can't do stuff like that. But they're observing, right? They're observing what's going on, and they look, and face has got a lot of acne on it, and they're like, doesn't really look like a healthy look. Now, it may not be that person's fault, right? They may have a certain type of skin, but using products and taking care of your skin will lead to a healthy looking skin. Remember, you're in the fitness and health industry. You have to not just look the part on social media, on the internet, but in person. So then they have the Skype with the other person, 50,000 followers, which is not as much as the 1.1 million, but that person's skin is beautiful. They took the time to take care of their hair before they actually did the Skype, as opposed to the other person just kind of gets on there with a hat, hi, what are you doing, whatever. And then they go, okay, this person's skin looks good. They look like they're lean and in shape already. Then they start, so it's that first appearance, right? Because your appearance is what the companies are really looking for. Then they start asking the questions. So the first thing that these companies are looking at is what you look like, because that's what the industry wants. And that is the way that your hair is done, the way that your physique maintains year round, the way that your skin is. And I think that most of us understand about the physique, but I don't think many people understand about the skin and how important it is. And when I saw people getting let go last year from companies, and I was like, well, I thought they were a good fit. And then I just, because I know these other people that run the companies, that are involved with the companies, I'd ask, like, hey, how come so-and-so left? And I'd get that, well, you know, she had 120,000 followers and she got, you know, literally sold one product in 3 months. So we went through her followers, and I guess there's a way to tell if they're fake, and we found out a lot of fake followers, so that was in the contract. She she was terminated. Or another one that, you know, they said, well, you know, he looked great, you know, on his Instagram. And we flew him in. We paid for everything. We flew him in. We got him a place for 3 nights, food, everything was paid for. And then he walks into the expo, and we look at him, and yeah, it kind of resembles the guy in the Instagram, but it doesn't really look like him. He had really bad dry skin flaking off. He had acne in some of his skin, and he was about 20 pounds heavier, fat-wise, than he looks in all of the pictures. And, you know, like, we kind of step back and we go, these people are really not representing our company, right? This is not what we bought into. We literally hired them because of one thing, and they show up looking like something else, which is technically false advertising. So be aware, guys. Your social media has to represent you if that's what you want to do with one of these companies. Now, Teach Henley absolutely, hands down, has whole systems that are in place to take care of what you need. And again, this is not just one skin company. There's a bunch of them out there. However, I felt like for our purposes in the fitness industry, this is the company that I've thought represented the best because I'm using their products. I used them first to be able to be like, well, this is what I'm using. This is what works well. Now, I've used other stuff in the past, but nothing that really fit together like this in like a system that took care of everything. And like when people start saying stuff like because of my hair, they're like, oh, you look a lot younger with the hair. Well, they're also not noticing, like, you know, my blemishes and stuff on my face. There's no more blemishes, right? The dark circles, I mean, there's still some dark skin there, but the dark circles are almost gone. So a lot of things have kind of taken place since I started using the products, and I can't talk highly enough about them. And some of my clients are using them now because they understand also those, and you know, not just competitors. This is another big thing. Your wedding pictures. Here's another kicker. I train so many people for weddings, and these people train just as intense, just as hard, and are just as focused as any competitive athlete I've ever met. They train so hard that it's ridiculous. And they want those pictures on their wedding day to be 100% perfect. Now, the professional pictures they take, of course, they Photoshop them or whatever, but there's so many people taking pictures with their phones at weddings now that are going up on Instagram and Facebook, and people shooting videos that are going up on YouTube, that people that are getting married, they used to just take care of their physique, right? They'd always try to lose weight or gain muscle or try to get a certain look for their wedding. And then what they do is they get their hair done. You know, they spend $500 getting a haircut done, or in the morning of the wedding, the people come in and they do the hair for them and all this stuff. And then what happens is they go up there and they don't look their best because they didn't take care of the skin, right? And especially guys. I know this is hard to believe, but guys, we just don't think about it, right? And that is changing now. In 2019, that is changing. And I thought, you know what? There's just one thing to do. The one thing to do is to find out what works well, and then direct people towards that. There's no product code, there's no coupon code or anything like that with, you know, BioS3 or Jerry or GI15. None of that stuff like this. You guys are getting my honest opinion of what I feel about this stuff. And if you guys are out there right now looking for sponsorships, you got a wedding coming up, you got a competition coming up, remember, your skin is very important for the overall look because judges are looking at that. Companies are looking at that. The people at your wedding are looking at that. Everybody's actually looking, and they actually notice those little details. And if it comes down between you and another person and you have that great skin and you stay in shape year round, guess what? You're going to get that contract. And when you get that contract, trust me, guys, I have flown around the world and done expos and done things and been places that I would never have seen if I didn't have those opportunities from the companies that I was working with. Trust me, it will change your life, guys, if you wind up doing one of those things, whether it's not you're starting your own business like I've done with GFT Labs, or you wind up sponsored by a company, whatever the case may be. But I'm telling you guys right now, there are so many opportunities right now that people are going to lose because they don't go after the fine details and not paying attention to the details like their skin. That is just foolish for somebody not to go, I'll put my face wash on at night, I'll put the lotion on at night, I'll put the lotion on in the morning, and guess what? I'm good to go. It's really not that big a deal. So without further ado, guys, check out the description box. The Teach Henley link is in the description box. Go on there, check it out. They have everything that you need. Maybe they just have one thing that you need. You know, there's different things that will affect you different ways, meaning like maybe you don't need something for dry skin, you need something for oily skin. Maybe you don't need something for oily skin, you need dry skin. It's all in there. Check it out, everything you need, guys. Thank you guys so much for paying attention to this and for understanding, because Better You, this series is going to be cranking out, and Competing 101 is video number 1. Thank you guys so much. I'm BioS3 and I approve this message, and we are